Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. We're a bunch of mega fans giving you the news discussion and, of course, a whole lot of opinions about Brandon's works and the Cosmere. I'm Eric, and joining me is Ian.
Hey, I'm Weiry Writer, and I have show and tell.
Okay.
It's like I finally got the display for the Series 3 Dragonsteel character pins as they are now. So shout out to Carly at Dragonwood Shop, who made a cattywampus display to fix the fact that all of the card backs got messed up for this series. And thank you for making this exist so I can actually display these. But
Carly's got us covered for displaying merch. For sure.
Yep. Looks nice.
Hell yeah. Also, we have Evgeni.
Hi, I am Argent, and we have been recording WoBs for 38 hours.
That's not true. That's not true. Also, joining us on the WoB episode that he thought he was going to be on the last time is Adim.
Hey, I'm X.
And
different Adim than the one I'm replacing and with the background.
Yes, evidently. Yes, you're doing some nonsense to confuse people who hover over this video. I appreciate that. Just like if you hover over it in YouTube and you get like that preview, they'll be real confused.
Anything for the engagement.
This would never happen, but it would be very funny to have Brandon do a WoB episode.
that would be such a bad experience for him.
It's like it's like the YouTuber reacts to the reaction to the reaction.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that.
One of my least favorite YouTube trends.
I mean, but people have been doing that for a long time.
Okay, maybe trend is the wrong thing to call it, but it's one of my least favorite YouTube things.
Yeah. And I'm Cass, and so we are finally, well, not quite done with the 2025 WoBs, but it is the end of 2025 that we're at with our WoBs, even though it's nearly April now when we're recording this, and April when you get this, because we are on to the December spoiler stream. But first...
That is the month of December, not the spoiler stream dedicated to the fires of December, which may or may not happen in the future.
That's next December. Or this December. This December, December comes out for the second time because the backers will get December. And then we will have Nexus in December, and then we'll have the December spoilers. Ian's taking psychic damages. I was like, why am I here? So before we do that, though, what do we got for news?
Speaking of spoiler streams, we are recording this very soon after the end of
the Hoyt Storybook
backer kit campaign, where Brandon did a little live stream. I wanted to call it Fires of December campaign, and I'm like, that's not. I know that's not, but it's not.
It's not.
And in the kind of final closing live stream of that, Brandon mentioned that he wants to do a spoiler stream probably in July. So there have been instances where he has said that he wanted to do a spoiler stream, and spoiler stream has not happened. The July ones especially are a little hit or miss. His birthday ones are more reliable in that regard. But this was unprompted. He did say that without anyone asking him for a spoiler stream. So I think that's a little bit more likely than usual.
Yeah, it was kind of wrapping up with it's probably going to be a few months before we stream again. And unprompted said it would be a spoiler stream.
Yeah. So we have that.
I think he knows that big break of without spoiler streams was maybe not the best because he's just much less accessible. So I do think he is aware of that.
Yeah, but he's known that for years.
Yeah, but now it feels like he's doing something about it.
Well, I will let's get 2 July streams in a row, and then I will feel good about
let's
it.
just get a year of 2 spoiler streams.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
So we've got that going on. This being the month of April means it's the month of JordanCon, and
Yes.
some of us will be there. I think from... Oh, you're coming, Eric?
Yeah, I'm coming. Oh, did you not know
Oh.
this?
I mean, JordanCon always feels uncertain for you.
Well,
I
that
guess
is true, but I managed
this
to make it
call-
work.
Only Ian is not coming?
Nope. They all hate me, so I didn't get invited.
I decided to
Also,
go
I
to
didn't want
JordanCon.
to pay for tickets or plane rides
Sorry,
or
who's-
like a
who's-
hotel.
Who is they? The
You.
Oh,
You.
Oh, yeah.
okay,
You're
okay,
banned.
okay.
You're banned, actually.
Yeah, we pulled some strings.
Mhm.
Called Billy up personally.
Yeah.
Ian must be banned. Yeah, I mean, I bought my ticket before I knew Brandon was going to be there. Okay, so I decided a long time ago, and hopefully I will be able to get there with flights and things. So that's a little.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't be there, but it won't be
Yeah.
by choice.
As soon as this recording is over, I am going to the airport and lining up, and I will stay in line to go through security for the next 20 days.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah, I did hear someone at Atlanta. It's like was in security for 5 hours. So I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad I got the later flight back home. That's great. Lastly, we have covers for Blightfall, the first book of Rift Wake, which is the sequel series to Skyward, and that is coming out September 1st. Boom.
Which Riftwake continues to be awesome title for a book series.
That's yes.
We don't know what it means or what it refers to.
Nope.
Still awesome name.
Props to the US cover for saying the series on the cover and the book number. Whoa. Whoa. It's not just like, oh, it's a Skyward book, or oh, it's a Mistborn novel, and we're going to leave the numbering vague, so you have to look it up to see which one it is if you pick it up from the shelves. It's like, wow, you'll know which one's number one? That's crazy.
Riftwake, the series formerly known as Skyward Legacy.
And this is a much better title. Skyward Legacy was not a good title.
Yes.
So I'm very excited about that. Very excited for people to read. Apparently the US edition will have some end papers and definitely sprayed edges. So it looks pretty sick, actually.
That means I do have to order it.
It does act legitimately look really good.
Yeah.
Aside from, just the book being good. But it's like, do you get an ebook? Do you get the physical book? I was like, oh yeah, that physical book looks pretty good. I think
And
the
I'm
UK cover
gonna
looks
have
really
to
sick too.
Bring it in December for Nexus so I can get Jancy to sign it.
True. Yes. Yes, indeed. But don't worry, everyone. With JordanCon and a maybe July spoiler stream, we will have enough WoB episodes to pad time to get further and further behind. So we will hit our quota of padding time before Ghost Bloods 1. Don't worry. We will get there. We will get to the Ghost Bloods 1 release. No problem.
So many WoBs.
Maybe we'll have some episodes about, Fires of December when it actually comes out, rather than just wop, 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 wop.
I'm highly confident we're going to have an episode or two beyond the reactions episode.
Yeah, we'll get back to Ember Dark Mysteries soon, which ended up not being Ember Dark Mysteries at all. So that'll probably be in these next few episodes. I might split WoB topic and then WoB. I don't know. We'll find out. But WoB episodes are classic Shardcast, right? That's just a fact.
So bread and butter.
Bread and butter.
I think some people, I know someone was saying on Discord that, oh, I was joined when you did 5 WoB episodes in a row, and that's Shardcast to me. That is peak Shardcast. I'm like, yeah. That and the Dawn Shards episode, that's peak Shardcast to me. Good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the WoB episodes are just popular pretty much across the board. Like, we like doing them because they're easy and fun. People like listening to them because they are interesting and fun to listen to. The Dawn Shard episodes skew differently, where our perception of them and the public perception of them diverge a little bit.
I don't know. I think if you get Grace on, get us on, get a good one. But cool. So we're in WoB mode. And Ian, do you want to start with this one from our good friend Page Runner and also Legion Rip? I don't know.
This very long one? Sure.
Yeah. And the thing with this spoiler stream is Brandon was answering things in chat, but I think on Arcanum, this all got cleaned up. So it's readable. So that's nice for sure.
If I recall correctly, this one in particular was both Page Runner and Legion Rip had essentially the same question. And so Adam read it as, hey, these two people are asking the same thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Page Runner and Legion Rip. In a non-spoiler Q&A at Worldcon, you talked about a character who was going to die in Wind and Truth in your outline, but that when you got to writing the book, you realized the character wouldn't make that choice and would go a different direction and so survive.
I want to just interrupt real quick and notice we haven't talked about this, but we are a weird fandom in that the way we ask questions is so like citation filled. It's like, hey, Brandon, in the month of April of 2014, when you attended this con in Atlanta, Georgia, you said with this.
It's funny because later there was a thing where someone asked a thing and Brandon's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So it's like you kind of have to.
It's just always show up with receipts.
Yeah, like give the little context clues that hopefully fire the synapses in Brandon's brain so he knows what you're talking about.
He has a lot of things in his brain though, so this all checks out,
Also, I don't think we mentioned spoiler policy for this episode, which is
everything in the universe, including Ember Dark. Ember Dark's not a spoiler policy. We're going to talk about
Wind and Truth
now.
Yes,
and people who lived or died, yes.
So Brandon responds, yes, this is a big one. This is the biggest change I think I made. I actually saw that email. What is the biggest change? It's twofold. One is boring. I changed Dalinar's flashbacks to being in book 3 and Szeth's flashbacks to being in book 5. That's the biggest change, I would say, along with Adolin's increased part and role in the story since book 1. That set a cascading effect through the outlines, but I was very well outlined by the time we got here. That Adolin was going to do his whole thing that happened in here. The existence of the Unoathed was not in the original outline. It's a completely new thing, but I rebuilt those outlines in the years intervening, so you'll find them in the outlines and whatnot. So when he outlined the series, they didn't exist, but since writing book 1, he went back and inserted it long before he wrote book 5.
Makes sense.
And I would say the Unoathed feel like because the Unoathed are established by his relationship with Maya, and because his relationship with Maya has this progression from book 1 all the way through book 5, that feels earned. It feels like a natural part of the series.
It's like once you have Adolin doing those things, there needed to be some sort of payoff to that, and that's the Unoathed.
Yeah, and he created
which
it
is
to do that.
Really cool, how that happens.
Absolutely makes sense to me.
I wonder when this re-outlining to add the Unoaths, where that lines up with the 10 shard bleeds a light death rattle.
Oh, some of those named chapter titles are a little sketchy. So, he'll be like, I can make it work. It'll be good.
Yeah.
I can have a double meaning. Haha. That's what I think.
Yeah. And knowing a little bit about how the sausage is made for chapter titles is who can say, really? It's
I think Brandon chose the
those were his.
Ones. I think those were
his. Okay.
Yeah.
Death rattles were his.
Yeah. Because anyway,
to continue, The big change that I made when I was working on this book specifically is Szeth was going to die. So why did it not work? Well, Szeth was going to be consumed at the end by Nightblood. He was going to let himself be consumed in a way that was kind of like a suicide in order to spit in the face of what's going on and refuse what was happening to him. And as I worked on the outline and I worked on who he was, I'm like, Szeth, of all the characters, can't be the person who doesn't take the next step. The whole theme of take the next step, I'm like, I cannot have, even though it wasn't a full suicide, I couldn't have heroic suicide at the end of Stormlight 5, even if it was only a sideways one. And I realized during outlining, and this actually, a beta reader pushed me on this, not that in any version did they read that Szeth died, but he fully renounced in an early version the Skybreakers. And one of the beta readers, I'll not out them because I don't want people going to the beta readers and being like, you changed what I would have liked. Pointed out that isn't it stronger if Szeth works to rehabilitate the Skybreakers rather than just renouncing them completely? And I'm like, yeah, that's what Szeth would do. It wasn't something that I had been thinking about because I had been thinking about Szeth dying until I got to the outline for this book. And then I'm like, it's not right. So there's not a scene written ever where he did that by the time I was working on the outlines for this book. But you've got to remember, these outlines stretch back 15 years at this point. And I have a much better understanding of mental health and the characters and things like this. And as soon as I got to that in my initial outline, I'm like, wow, this was a terrible idea. And you will see that in your early outlines because you've grown so much as a writer and your characters have grown so much where you're like, what was I thinking by having Szeth essentially just give himself up and get consumed by Nightblood at the end of this book? Just not a very good idea. It never really was going to happen. I don't think I would have ever done that, but there you are.
Yeah, when I heard this on the spoil stream, I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. I can see how that would be in the original outline.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's smidgens of things that I'm like, I can see what that original idea was and how that kind of fits with Szeth's character. But yeah, having him not take the next step and just giving in is not the best way to do that. So no. Yeah.
And like and when you have the entire book dealing with like Kaladin is trying to help him like have a life in not just the literal sense, but you know, the life experience sense.
Yeah.
And then to have the book end with him just saying, nah.
Well, I mean, again, that was before he ever did the outline for this book, right? Which was even before he outlined book 4 and 5 together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, even still, like, it's kind of a refutation of like life before death. So it's like, yeah, like this was never actually going to happen.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I can see
different series, maybe not Stormlight.
I could see from like a 30,000-foot view before having like gotten into the heads of these characters.
Yeah,
it would have made sense. Like
yes,
on like a high level. Yeah.
Yeah, because when they are less characters and more, not even archetypes, but like, you know, pieces on a chessboard, you can imagine, oh, this is going to be the one who heroically sacrifices themselves, and this is the one who's going, you know.
And it's like a setup in Oathbringer, with Szeth being partially eaten, and then it's like it goes further in Wind and Truth or something. I'm not sure what scenario Brandon really had in his mind for, because he says like it would have been in order to spit in the face of what's going on. So I don't know what was going on in Brandon's original outline that would prompt Szeth to do this, but probably something.
Well, I think it's something. Ishar's plan of like, you're going to be the next Herald.
Yeah.
And the response is like, no, screw you. I'm just going to die now.
I'm out.
So I can't be the next Herald.
Which, like, there is that aspect with Szeth is not going to pick up like another situation like the Oathstone, right? And do that same sort of thing. So, like, I can see at the high level that being a choice. And I'm very glad he found another way to do that. Right.
Yes.
So that's very interesting to me.
Yeah. And I think one-armed Szeth hanging out in Shinovar with Nightblood I think that there's, interesting places that could go. Well, I guess he's not really hanging out in Shinafari. He's doing something with the Rebel Skybreakers, wherever they are. But
yeah, we'll find out. I mean, I don't know if Brandon knows right now. I'm sure he'll find out.
Well, yeah, we'll find out in a few years.
But
and also his wife.
Yes.
Good old Masha.
Just happened to be sleeping earlier in the book. I'm like, okay.
I mean, I guess the thing I worry about is like how much is Szeth going to do in back half? Because like we're starting to get a lot of characters and things, and so like I'm sure Brandon will have to outline and like make sure he progresses from there, kind of like how Adolin happened, and then he needs to like fit these things into the outline.
Like Szeth is of the like main 5 for the front half. Szeth is pervasive throughout, but still like has the least page time. Really,
absolutely.
So like I wouldn't be surprised if like we see him from time to time, but like he's never gonna be like a Kaladin. No, like
I think at most he's going to be Navani level. I would almost expect him to be more like Yasna level in that he is present, he interacts with the characters every now and then, but like he doesn't have a big role to play every book.
And like some books he has like a part where we get like consistent viewpoints or something like that, which like
something like that
was what happened in Oathbringer, right? Like he did get,
or like he could be like an interlude through line.
That would actually kind of be fun in book 6 because Szeth was the interlude through line in book 1. That would actually be kind of funny.
Fun, just like parallels.
Poetic.
That'd be kind of fun.
Or like if he was the through line for book 10.
Yeah.
Of just book ending it.
Oh yeah, get it. Yeah. Book 6, we just get Retribution interludes. There's no way that's gonna happen to like parallel book 5, right? Like there's no way.
But maybe he's not gonna tip his hand on like Blackthorn's friend stuff anytime soon.
No.
I'm gonna be like, Blackthorn's friend for interlude through line, but no.
Yeah. Like I think that's gonna be way later, right? I guess he did say that was back half stuff that he had plans. So I don't know.
Let's not turn this into another Stormlight 6 predictions episode.
We will turn every episode into. I mean, that's kind of what's happening. I do still think it's crazy to think about the flashbacks being switched because obviously we're reading the books in their complete form, whereas there was never a book that had the different flashbacks because Brandon's like, no, this one works way better, and so we never saw that imaginary worst book. Right.
Yeah.
That it's still wild.
It's like I could see a version of Oathbringer bringing like Szeth's flashbacks into that book.
I can
like,
kind of
I have a harder time like bringing Dalinar's to this book and it still working.
Yeah.
It would be like talking around it. Like
I
was already kind of tired of it.
I almost feel like I can see how Dalinar works better in this book because the end of this book is a big Dalinar moment. And like you would need to change what the flashbacks talk about and how they talk about it to like frame it, to support the structure of, the story of the given book, right? So it would be probably less focused on I don't know how I would do it, but I can see how this
the spiritual realm
with.
Like, because I was thinking like the Blackthorn thing could like tie more directly into like flashback, something that seems like a flashback, but it's actually the creation of life.
Spiritual Dalinar is showing
his
kind
own
of the
memories.
Blackthorn, his own, something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
Rather than in Oathbringer, where it's just like you get your memories back, which is like
Well, Oathbringer worked really well for me because a lot of those were tied. Like his memories were being triggered by something in the environment.
Oathbringer are the best flashbacks for sure, but I'm just saying like I can imagine that being instigated with the spiritual realm. I can imagine how Dalinar could have been book 5, but I think then it's not Taravangian, it's like race, and like this is like this very old Stormlight outline thing where Brandon's not sure if Taravangian would work, so it's like I'll have race there, and just things change, and then you get these compounding changes. So have fun with that with the back half outline. Good luck with that. Sounds a little challenging, but hey. So Evgeni, why don't you do this next part, which is actually still part of the same mob, but I've split it because
the start of the stream was just a long conversation.
But I mean, this is what I want in a spoiler stream. Like I love knowing what Brandon thought and how that changed in like drafting and implementation. Like that's the kind of stuff that I really enjoy a lot of. What was the plan? What's different? Yeah.
So we ended up with talking about Szeth and Nightblood and stuff like that. And Adam says, as you've written so many stories, has there been a character that has really surprised you about their change or their growth from the beginning of the book compared to the end of the book? And Brandon says that it's hard to say because surprise is such a weird term. A lot of authors use that in regards to what happens. What's really going on is, as you're writing, you're making connections, you're getting to know these characters better, you're getting to understand their themes better. Almost no one ends up exactly where you imagined them, but I tend to be more on target than most writers, I would say. Way of Kings is a cheat because I knew I'd written Way of Kings before, and I knew that I'd written wrong. I knew what I'd written wrong. But if you look at the entire growth of the Stormlight Archive, it's obviously Adolin. Everyone else basically ends up where I had imagined they would at the end in some shape or another. But then we did just change Szeth. So,
yeah.
But it's like you changed Szeth's ending, whereas like you changed Adolin's beginning and that.
Yeah.
Just like echoes, like fractures into infinity or whatever the quote is from Szeth, Taravangian staring at infinity.
Brandon's really that person looking into the spiritual realm of these are all the possibilities the book can be, and I need to pick which route to go, pretty much. Which, not a bad metaphor, to be honest.
Yeah. No, which like he's commented on why it's difficult to answer questions sometimes because like in some way, all of those potentialities still exist in his head. It's like, okay, like, what's the version that actually happened?
What did I change that person's name to? What did happen? And honestly, I can't imagine with Stormlight, just like you're just trudging through it, and then it's just like, books out, it's dumped into a copper mine. Book's done, but it does seem like Brandon's getting, I know he was saying, like, oh yeah, I'm kind of getting more excited about Stormlight again. So, that's good. We get the lag time because before Stormlight 5's even out, Brandon's like, okay, I'm done. I'm absolutely sick of the book. And then like a few months later, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of interested in Stormlight again. Seeing things. So.
Truly not even Brandon can escape the pool of Stormlight.
I mean, it's his big love. Is his love child of the epic fantasy, the 10 giant books, right? So, all right, Adam, and then we got the last part of this giant wob.
So, questioner, what was the difference between the epilogue you wrote in Wind and Truth over a decade ago that went unused due to timing issues with the epilogue in the published version? So, Brandon says, the epilogue in the published version is very similar, except Wit was on Roshar, and I realized... And this is another thing that happens to you when you're working on books. Like, you don't always see the conundrums until you're in the thick of it. The conundrum was there. Roshar getting stuck in time dilation and Wit ending at the end on Roshar, just kind of morose. The same kind of morose feeling that you get from it. He's like, it's gone wrong. I've messed up again. It's essentially where Wit is. He's like, I have screwed this up again. I really tried this time and I messed up. And he was on Roshar. I had to get him off Roshar in order to get around time dilation timing issues. I actually started making that version in Oathbringer. I was aware of this conundrum by Oathbringer. I don't think it made it into Oathbringer. My original thought was to have seeding him leaving, getting some cultures off-world of himself to try this out. And I don't think it ended up happening. It didn't end up happening. We had no idea that this happened. Yeah. I was going to send some with Rock. Forgot that this was it. Okay. I was going to send some with Rock. I didn't ever write the Rock novella in time, but by Oathbringer, I was aware of this and working on, all right, he's going to have to get off. I mean, Odium would vaporize him the moment he found out anyway, so it ended up working out really well. The other big revision is a lot of my editors and many of the beta readers were really worried about how downer of an ending Wind and Truth was, particularly the editors. This wasn't the beta readers as much. This was the editors. Yeah. And this is, torn glance. And I'm like, a downer of an ending, I know, I can maybe give Wit a little of an upbeat turn. And so the epilogue changed just a tad as I had him do something I wasn't planning for anyone to do until the back five, which is realize that Dalinar made a decision that nobody was expecting. But that is maybe the best decision he could have if you think it through. At first, it seemed like a pretty terrible one, but having Wit acknowledge, okay, this is good, that'll work. And so that's the other big tweak to the epilogue. Otherwise, it's the same epilogue. It's very similar. It's just location change and then a little tweak of it being more upbeat.
It's kind of funny how Brandon, Wit's doing a monologue and Brandon's like, I could just switch the entire planet this is on. And it's basically the same. It is kind of funny. Mm-hmm. But if you think about a lot of the other epilogues, how important were the locations? We can switch them.
Yeah. But it's interesting to know that he'd already come up with the explanation he was going to use for how Hoid gets off. Obviously, no, Brandon, nothing about him getting cell cultures off the planet made it into the books. But it's nice to know that he was in his brain. That's what Hoid was doing, because Hoid is obviously doing a million different things at all times.
It seems that it would have been related to Rock. So it would have. So then the instead of Dawn Shard, it may have been a Rock novella at some point in his head. Maybe. Or he wanted to.
I think maybe at some point he realized that the timeline wouldn't work, right? Because if you have Rock leaving Roshar around the time of Stormlight 5, and then the Lost Metal epilogue, Melan, having her meet up with Rock post all of Era 2, and if Rock is the one carrying Hoid's cell cultures to Scadrial, then those cells cannot make it to Scadrial until after all of Era 2, which means Hoid cannot be in Era 2, which he is. So
which he already is in Era 2.
Yeah. And so there's some timeline dancing that needs to happen here.
And this is probably why Brandon's been cagey about the timeline. He's like, I gotta figure this out, and we'll figure out front half Stormlight, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's he needs to have it written, because right now, before that, the parts were too in flux to he needs it's the downside of writing asynchronously between eras he was doing, of it's tossing footballs you don't know how you're going to catch yet.
Yeah. This is the stream where he talks about Horn Eater, which we've actually already talked about. We moved that WoB forward, so that's not in this episode. But I think he always needed Horn Eater to be after book 4, because I don't think after Oathbringer we were close enough to dealing with Rock. So I think he knew which ones were the novellas. But it's been a while.
Well, Oathbringer Rock kills Sidious.
Or
Amaram, who was Sidious at that
point.
Who was
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I think Rock had all the motivation to have his novella after Oathbringer, but
it wasn't really the thing of he would have to leave.
There was the implication that he would go and face justice for what he's done in some capacity.
But it's Dawn Shard takes place during that year time skip. Whereas you really can't have Horn Eater in the time skip, because you need Kaladin seeing Rock off at the beginning of Rhythm of War, because that just further buries Kaladin's mental health.
And
stacks that up as he's losing everybody. Like he's lost his position. He's losing everybody. It's like Rock is leaving, never to return, probably.
And you just wouldn't have time to do it in like the Oathbringer falling action because there's just so much going on. You can't fit it in. So you kind of have to fit it in later. But I know, I mean, we've talked about, the downer ending because Brandon's talked about that. I mean, he talked about it on our interview, right? With him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we blabbed about this. But could be darker.
I like that he corrects it, that it was mostly the editors and not the beta readers.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense from a publisher perspective.
Some betas, but
some betas did think the original ending was a bit too.
But it was not the beta readers think.
Yes.
It's
no.
There was a spectrum of opinions on that,
as is always the case.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, for most things, some things are like, wow, this is bad. But
I don't know, some people
on this call maybe liked the one thing everyone else hated, and maybe it's me. But anyway,
it's possible.
It's maybe possible. But I don't know. I love hearing how Brandon's like, oh crap. Even in like book 3, okay, I gotta adjust the thingies, which is maybe why he really needed after Oathbringer. I have to outline book 4 and 5. And I don't know how much book 5's outline changed after he did that pre-Rhythm of War. I'm sure it did, but I'm sure he needed a lot of the beats there for like each arc probably he wrote out, right? I don't know. Well, we don't need to talk about the contract and the context.
Let's do some easy WoBs.
Yeah, let's do some easy WoBs. And this next one, this questioner asked, is Dalinar really dead? We're getting all the Wind and Truth related questions. Brandon says, yes, Brandon. Yes, Dalinar is really dead. No. I'm sorry. Dalinar is really dead. So Dalinar is dead like Vin and Elend are dead. Not like Kelsier was dead. Now, it depends on what you think of life after death. Fair point in the Cosmere. That is a fair and valid point of what you think about the beyond. And also Kelsier.
I love the death spectrum of, on one end you have Vin and Elend and Dalinar, and on the other you have Kelsier.
The kind of dead where we can't resurrect real Dalinar.
Yeah.
Anymore.
No. But we can manifest fake Dalinar.
Real Dalinar. Well, because there's the whole thing of our cognitive shadows, the actual person or just a copy, blah blah blah.
We can just visit old Dalinar in the spiritual realm whenever we wanted, even separate from the Blackthorn. Just anytime.
Yeah.
If you have free access to the spiritual realm, you could. Your dead mentor figure, you can always go into the spiritual realm and be like, hey, what do you think about that?
Your dead husband.
Well, yeah.
I mean, what use does Navani have for Dalinar when the Blackthorn is around?
I think younger Navani would agree with you.
No, because young Navani was also scared of his intensity.
Yeah, that's why she preferred Gout.
Yeah, scared in a good way.
But she was also attracted to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like the best of Raboniel and the best of Dalinar combined.
Adim going hard to making this a Stormlight back half predictions episode. All shipping edition. Let's go. We got Silladin. Let's get Navani Blackthorn. Boom.
She does love her war criminals.
And she's in the Chrysalis, so she doesn't have time to get over Dalinar, and so she'll be
yeah,
she'll be ready.
We don't know how aware she is in
That's true. I have no idea what's going on.
I feel like it's Han Solo rules.
Yeah, it's probably Han Solo rules for sure.
Was maybe she is just the main interfaced with sibling as the mainframe running the city.
Oh, the ghost in the machine.
Yeah, so maybe that was one of the things where I'm like, I thought, weren't we gonna have the upside down airships in the back half? Wasn't Navani gonna make those? I'm like, no, she's in a Chrysalis. Okay, interesting.
And Navani is an ideas and organization person, and the ideas are out there.
Sure.
They can still happen without her direct supervision.
And she's probably really, really excited to be able to run the entire through sewer system.
Yeah.
Really get that running at 100% efficiency.
Yeah.
I mean, and now it's a closed system, so it's like, we gotta get this sort of work here. Well, cool. Let's move on.
What exactly does the fifth oath do for radiant abilities? Brandon. Rapho, unsurprisingly.
Not surprising.
Though one of the things you should expect is the amount of Stormlight needed as the bond attunes becomes less and less to perform certain acts, and that allows you to accomplish things by itself that are pretty cool. A little teaser, not actually new. I think Kaladin could reach the moons. They're pretty close orbit, but he could reach the moons by now. Just with the Stormlight, he can carry pretty easily. We don't have Stormlight anymore. That is correct. If he had Stormlight, he could. Unfortunately, there is no Stormlight.
So I think Kaladin is going to the moon.
I mean, there is weird stuff with the moons, to be fair.
There is weird stuff with the moons. And Brandon has said for years that they did the math of how long it would take to get to the moons.
Yeah, I don't think this is a hypothetical. I think Kaladin is going to the moon. I think the moon's haunted and Kaladin is going there.
Yeah,
gotta have
particularly with the whole fourth moon nonsense.
There's even more weird moon stuff.
It's not just oh, that's an interesting celestial configuration. It's now there's weird stuff.
What is going on with the moon? Where are the moon people? Are there moon people? Will Kaladin get a squad of moon people in the back half? Yeah. And replace every other herald with moon people? Easy.
They will ride on the space whales back.
And they'll ride on the space whales. Easy.
Yeah. Now, it's been a minute since I read Rhythm of War. Is there a scene where Navani splits Tower Light into Stormlight and Lifelight? Or is that just a thing I imagined?
I thought it was that it was the prism thing, and so you could see the component parts of the light.
Okay.
So you saw the spectra it emitted, but not actually splitting the investiture itself, I think.
I don't think we have seen either hybrid light get actually split.
I'm sure it is theoretically possible.
I could have sworn there was a scene where it was she was able to split them, but obviously couldn't recombine them. I'm okay.
No, because I don't
split the rainbows.
Yeah, so it's the rainbows.
Okay, it was the rainbows. Okay.
And I don't know how splitting, theoretically splitting should work similarly to how combining works, whether you have the two songs of the shards and you bring them into alignment in some way. And so splitting would be somehow disentangling those two, but we've never I don't know what that looks like.
You get Discord from Era 3 and he fixes it up. He breaks it apart real easy.
Yeah. And that's why they should love him.
Maybe anti-Lifelight and Tower Light results in Stormlight. I mean, it would result in explosions in Stormlight.
Canceling you're reacting with one half of the hybrid to leave the other one.
I don't know if that works that way.
I think it's closer to a Fourier transform where you're split it. You need to split them up and try to.
Sure.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's probably getting more akin to splitting harmonium in Lost Metal, which hopefully you can do more sustainably.
See, it's so interesting with generating more Stormlight because I'm really excited for that resource aspect to be more important. And so part of me is I don't necessarily want Stormlight to be easy to get because I thought that was the whole point. Yeah. But at the same time, it does seem logically possible that with Tower Light that you could do that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's more fun to keep it as Tower Light because Tower Light is a very short lifespan outside of the tower.
It's location bound. It's very location bound.
So I could see a Fabrial being made that lets you transport it out of the tower. But if you want to use it, you need to activate the Fabrial and immediately use the light or something.
Sure, yeah. It's very short usage. You can't do a sustained fight. Sure, yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it's like I wonder like how, because like the iRead like is distributing like investiture holding tanks like that we see in like lasting integrity. Is like how good are those at holding onto things? Like
open question whether that Stormlight's still there.
Yeah,
just asked.
Or like whatever they were doing to get Void Light off of Braze forever.
Well, the Spren still collect perfect gems. So I wonder if that implies that perfect gems are better than the iRead devices at maintaining, maybe. Or it's just like a supply thing. I don't know.
With the fifth oath, which is actually what this question's actually about. What am I losing my mind? Because again, it has been a long time since I've read Wind and Truth at this stage. Was there not some vague offhand reference that like fifth ideal Windrunner, for some reason I have like immortality related with this somehow, and I don't remember if that was heraldness. I could just be imagining this entirely.
No, nothing like that.
Okay, great, cool. I'm sure there's some reason why that's appearing in my brain, but I have no quotes to back this.
The reason is not the books.
No, there was something in the books. There was. I don't know.
It's lore you hallucinated.
Yeah, I'm an LLM, actually. Bottom Mishram. I'm a soundboard. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to know what actually fifth ideal Radiance, actually do. I'm excited to see one. For real. That'd be fun.
Yeah. It's...
Yeah. You never really got to see Calvin be cool with that because other things were happening.
Or Szeth.
Or Szeth.
Or Nail.
Well, and
all the cool things Nail does are not related to
our old god herald things. Yeah.
It's like it has to be less cool than being a herald.
Yes, true.
Otherwise, all the power dynamics would be very different.
Yeah, for sure.
Because heralds need to be top dogs of the forces of honor.
Yes.
Fifth ideal is really weird because technically half of the ideals don't really do much other than improve your power efficiency, right? Yeah, you get blade, you get plate, but these are, they're kind of abilities, but they're not abilities, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the abilities that are locked behind certain ideals are not really locked behind the ideals. They're locked behind either the Spren not giving you access, or technically you have access to Else Calling at level 1, but your power efficiency is so bad that you cannot channel enough investiture to actually use Else Calling, right?
Yeah.
And so in some regards, I wouldn't expect the fifth to unlock something new. But in other regards, it's the fifth ideal. I want the fifth ideal to be cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shallan got transubstantiation at 4?
Shallan's a bad example for everything.
Yeah, but she got a cool ability is what I'm trying to get at.
It's if we got trading cards of the different radiants, and on the back it has stats of radiant level and a number. For Shallan, it's just arcane symbols of overlapping, the Eldritch script, whereas it's just who knows?
Okay, I need to not just be reading the end of Wind and Truth to find this weird quote that probably doesn't exist. Whatever, it's fine.
It does not exist.
Eric, it does not exist.
There's something stupid in the book that doesn't say what I'm saying that is triggering a synapse in my brain, though.
Okay.
But I agree that it doesn't say... I believe your memory, for sure. I have complete confidence.
Well, while Eric is losing it in the background, I'm going to move on to the next question.
Yeah, no, let's do that.
The next question comes from the incredible questioner. That's not their username.
That'd be a pretty good username, though. I'll be totally honest. If you need a username for joining the community, that's pretty solid.
Let me go change my Reddit name. Are Moash's crystal spikes a form of Hemalurgy? Says they. And Brandon goes, yes, they are. In fact, and I've told you guys this before. Sorry, I'm reading ahead. That's the one where he had not told us about this before.
No, he had.
He's talking about he's told us about the Way of Kings Prime thing before.
Okay, well, regardless of whether, in fact, there's a point in Way of Kings Prime where they are walking through some tunnels to escape from the city, and that city was a partial inspiration for Urithiru. It's what became Urithiru. And they look down a corridor, and behind that corridor is an unmade spiked to the wall with crystal hemalurgic spikes. But we don't go over there. It was a seed for book 2 that didn't happen. Crystal hemalurgic spikes were in the Cosmere from the Way of Kings Prime. We absolutely did not know any of that nonsense.
I don't remember any of that.
He had mentioned like unmade spiked to wall with crystal spikes before.
Really? Huh. Fascinating.
I could swear.
I know a lot of people were like, I don't remember this at all. But okay, Brandon.
Spike.
Well, I'm once again asking Brandon to come up with some term that we can use to describe generic.
Okay. All right.
Brandon mentioned it in 2023, y'all.
Yeah, okay. And also in 2021.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
But like, what a bonkers thing of like, hey, you know that corridor they just walked past in this book? Yeah, down that corridor is this insane thing.
I'm like, that is really funny.
Okay.
You know.
Oh, so in 23, he says on Reddit, Cloudtail12 asks, I was just wondering if Sando has ever said what was behind the very ornate door under the first capital in the Way of Kings Prime. And then Brandon shows up in the Reddit thread and goes, an unmade was behind that door, spiked with crystal spikes to the wall, holding it and preventing it from going anywhere. I believe I talked about it on stream somewhere. That was very, very early Hemalurgy.
Stream somewhere.
You probably could still spike an unmade to bind it to the physical realm, though. So that part remains viable. And so that goes back. He has, in fact, talked about this before on stream. So that goes back to 2021, one of the the second YouTube spoiler streams. And talks about how Way of Kings Prime has changed so much. He talked about changes. I came back to the big ones, like the book had unmade spiked with crystalline spikes in the basement of the version of Urithiru before I changed it to what it was now. And we now have like the Midnight Mother in the basement of Urithiru.
Yeah.
Yada yada, unmade getting spiked and being freed by spikes to the wall is not a thing. I'm sticking them in gemstones now, right, instead of spiking them to walls. I feel like the whole Hemalurgy thing we've covered well enough, but that was the 2002 version. And it was 10 spikes.
So the most recent WoB says that it may be possible to still spike them. Spike the unmade to trap them in the physical realm with crystal spikes.
Plausible. He says plausible, yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, like, so it's probably like, there are many ways of capturing an unmade. The more like pervasive model is capturing them in gems, because like that's probably easier for Rosharan to like conceptualize and like enact. Because like doing it with spikes requires you to like know you can do things with spikes, which isn't a pervasive thing on Roshar.
I wonder if
one lady going around and doing it.
Yeah, I wonder if Reshafir still was spiked to the crystal pillar.
No.
I think she was just free. I think. Oh no! Yeah. When the Lightweaver trapped her.
There's the thing with the Lightweaver. Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure like she was captured in a gem and escaped the gem and then just like hung out around the heart of the sibling.
Yeah,
because it allowed her to do things.
And we've also speculated that the trapping of Mishram was like there was something in the gem archive where they talked about Oh god, that's so mixed up in my head now. But we have speculated that the Radiants experimented with trapping unmade in gems, and so the Midnight Mother was kind of an earlier experiment of that.
Oh, before I don't know if the bottom shroom stuff and they abandoned the tower. Sure.
I don't know if that works with the truth anymore.
I don't think it does. I feel like Mishram has to be the first one captured, but like it's entirely plausible that like shortly after they also captured Reshafir.
How's that work?
There's that there's that moment where Shallan like connects with Reshafir, which I guess could be like that's what the other Lightweaver did, and they trapped him in a gem and something like that.
Because I know in Oathbringer that was like part of the foreshadowing for what Dalinar could do at the end of the book with the thrill, right? Yeah. So like that's why that was there in the book.
But what we are presented with in Tanavast's flashbacks is he is the one that tells Melishi of the possibility of trapping unmade in gems. And so like because that information goes from Tanavast to Melishi to Mishram, there's no room. There's very little room for.
Maybe she just didn't know about what the Scholar Radiants are doing. Maybe it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's circling back to the question, like,
yes,
if there's any other Hemalurgy stuff that happened to Moash, other than just the ability to see Investiture, which I think is cool.
As in other abilities, you mean?
Yeah. And like, was that spite? Like, was that ability to see Investiture? Like, is this like Scatrian Hemalurgy where that ability was taken from someone and given to Moash? Or is it, well, I guess there's also the...
Yeah. So I have opinions on Hemalurgy. I think, and I know there is some evidence related to this. I just don't know which way the evidence goes. I am of the opinion that, and I don't think this is going to be controversial, that there is a form of magic in the Cosmere, which I often call spiritual surgery, which is just the ability to excise and staple bits of spirit webs between individuals, and like essentially like graft abilities or steal abilities or attributes or anything. Manipulation of the spirit web.
Yeah, Brandon's talked about this, and then also light weaving is another one of those things where
and light weaving, and there is stuff with like stone shaping and microkinesis. There are some magics in the Cosmere which are pretty fundamental, and they get expressed in different ways on different worlds. That's not the controversial, if there is a controversial. So I think that Hemalurgy is an expression of that, but is not the core of that. Right? So
as in Scatrian Hemalurgy, like with the
it's Scadrian spiritual surgery, and they call it Hemalurgy. And so I think what we are seeing here is a Rosharan spiritual surgery, but like for convenience, we refer to it as Hemalurgy because that's like the word that we know. In the same way that we refer to illusion magic as light weaving, even though that's the Rosharan. Yeah. But that gets weird with like Polish white.
Not exactly.
Or like bondsmithing is another example, right? Yeah. Which is just like connection magic.
Yeah.
And so I think Scadrian Hemalurgy and Rosharan Hemalurgy are siblings. They are not descendants.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So I'm just wondering, like, is the thing that Moash obtained from Hemalurgy, from the crystal spikes, like, where does that come? Is it just from modifying his own spirit web without, like, with like a sort of blank, like invested spike that doesn't really have anything specifically invested, or is it like a chunk of can see investiture that's been grafted onto him?
I think it's a bit of both, because like maybe because like I kind of disagree with Evgeni, whereas like no, I think this can be the same thing. It's not just like, oh, we're just calling it the same thing. Like, I feel like if that's what it was, Brandon would have just said, yes, this is Hemalurgy. He would have said like, oh, it's similar and related, but not the same thing. I feel like there would have been as emphatic yes. This is Hemalurgy in that case. Because like, the thing to keep in mind is like, yes, a lot of what we see with Hemalurgy is like the stealing and grafting of like specific abilities. But that's like half of what Hemalurgy does. Like the other half is like Hemalurgic constructs like Kolos and Kandra and Steel Inquisitors, where like other weird stuff happens when you start manipulating the soul.
Yeah, not just like an elementic ability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but you are like both Kandra and Kolos have spikes that are already invested shoved into. So like
and Kolos specifically needs
like
spikes, right?
the stealing of investiture is still there.
Yeah, it's specifically for Kolos, it's strength is stolen, right?
Yeah, it's their iron spikes for like human strength. So like here, I think like maybe like these spikes stole ability to see investiture, or maybe that's just like the Hemalurgic construct thing that happened with like whatever was stolen, spiked in that particular way.
Sure.
So like, I have a bad idea. Like, it's not necessarily that like Moash like is just somebody with a spike. Like it's more likely to me that he is some form of like Hemalurgic construct, which means like more weirder stuff can happen beyond like specific abilities being transferred.
Yeah.
What jumped to mind for me is Inquisitors and their steel sight. Where they're
it's super reminiscent of Inquisitors' steel sight.
Well, I mean, obviously that's what he's trying to evoke, of course.
Yeah, but I mean,
was reminded that there are people on the Horneater Peaks who can see Spren.
Oh, the sighted. Ooh, yeah, okay.
So is it Alaiiku? Or is that
is one of the names.
The sighted.
The sighted, yeah.
So like could have been a spike made from a Horneater.
Yeah.
Or from like a singer. Like
I think it's perfectly possible that if you had a crystal that, is infused in a particular way, that you could stab someone in the particular soul bind point to have an effect that I don't think you necessarily need that spike to be invested with necessarily anything, right? Like you could, if you just have it needs to be invested, but it could like be void light, right? I don't know if it necessarily needs to be like, I am stealing this from another person's soul. I don't think that needs to be the case.
I think I feel like it has to be like structured investiture.
Yeah, like it has to be like some sort of soul adjacent investiture, not just like kind of like raw unformed investiture.
Like it has to be shaped like strength.
With using unkeyed door and spikes. Was there a thing about that?
Yeah, because
I don't think
not about that.
I don't think they'd figure out anything out on.
So there is.
They theorized.
That's right. They theorized about it. Okay.
That's Shai was worried that they can. So what's happening in the Lost Meadow is the Szeth has figured out that they can siphon a little bit of like vestigial preservation investiture off of a number of individuals, and they can fill up a spike this way instead of the killing a person. And they have figured out that they can temporarily grant metal-born powers, or maybe specifically elements. I don't remember which one it was, to people, but eventually the power goes away, and it's unclear, or at least I don't remember whether that's because like the spike runs out or because like the soul rejects the ability or something happens.
It's been too long since I read Lost Metal because I don't remember that.
That checks out. Is there that much difference between raw investiture and that vestigial preservation investiture? Like if you just had if there was preservation light, is that different? I don't know if it's that different. slightly.
I don't think there is much difference. I think the difference is that allomancy comes from this additional preservation investiture in people.
Okay,
and so what you can do is you can siphon a little bit of that. It doesn't need to be structured, is what I'm trying to get at. So like you can siphon a little bit of extra preservation investiture from people, and by giving it to some, like the act of having that extra preservation opens them up to the possibility for allomancy.
Sure.
Yeah. But also, if I'm remembering correctly, like they had just figured out how to do this and like had not actually made functional spikes yet.
Yeah. From Lost Metal. Yeah.
So it's like entirely possible, like there is more involved. The making like siphoning out fractional amounts is an important step in like that development of making a spike that isn't made from someone's death. But like I do think like some form of structure is necessary.
I think Hemalurgy could be pretty broad, and its like the way it operates. I was gonna say Chana, but it's Batar who did that, right? That like
maybe the body focus provides the structure that we need.
Get out of
Adam's here for the hot takes here.
No.
I love that.
I think you can make an argument that someone like a Herald or someone like or at that point Odium could impose structure. So like you can start with a gem that is shaped like a spike but just holds void light. And you can make an argument that, Odium can shape that void light into something that grants, gem sight, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what's well, maybe that's what's happening here. Because I don't think you can just fill up a gem that is shaped like a spike and shove it into someone's eyes and gain the effect that we see here. Like, I don't think it's just a matter of light plus intent plus gem. I strongly think there needs to be a structure to the investiture.
And to be clear, I do agree, but I just don't think you would need to. I think there could be many ways you could do that, potentially, to impose structure.
In theory, yes, there should be artificial ways to impose that structure. We don't know how any of that, like maybe a bondsmith could do it, but like there are very few things a bondsmith can't do.
And also he also has spikes coming out of his head like a crown.
So it's definitely like he gets spiked, and my impression is that these spikes like grow around his head like mold almost.
Oh, good.
What about that? Isn't there the WoB about honor granting allomancy or something?
What?
I was just thinking that there wasn't something about how like the shard in the planet it affects the.
You mean preservation and allomancy and from 2008? That like way back?
No, I thought that there was one about honor granting. Like the question was like, can honor decide to grant to make allomancy a power that he can?
I don't remember that.
Or something like
I know that's a question I've wanted to. Well, not specifically that, but I've wanted to ask, like essentially for an update to the shard and planet interaction, 2020 something edition.
That's ancient stuff.
Yeah, because like as far as we understand, like magic systems emerge as an interaction between the shards and the planet itself.
Yeah.
With perhaps some measure of control.
They can like influence and like manipulate like how it's granted, but like base mechanics like are just emerge organically. I don't think honor would be able to like make allomancy happen on Roshar, but like he could probably could potentially like manipulate surge binding to like look sort of similar.
Yeah, so basically I was just wondering that because like, is that what Odium did with this Hemalurgy.
Well, Odium didn't do this Hemalurgy. Dova did. Dova specifically says, I found it, that you could figure out my crystal spikes on your own. But then Teravangian's like, I mean, but I have you right here, so I might as well use that. So Odium is not doing special sharding thing.
Okay.
There's some magic thing that Batar's doing to do this.
And even if he could, this is something that she has figured out on her own. And
I haven't found that WoB, but in getting here, I did find your honor purposes WoB of Evgeni from JordanCon 20.
I hate that for all of us.
For 2018. And so, Brandon's coming to JordanCon. You can ask about honors purposes again. Will that matter?
But what about
with
honors porpoises?
Honors porpoises, the Kaladin space whales. If you're watching this for the first time, you have no idea what these in-jokes mean, and I'm not going to elaborate.
And there is bliss in your ignorance.
It's true.
But yeah, I do believe there is some WoB about Hemalurgy being a more Cosmere wide.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there's 100%. One about that mentions Hemalurgy and light weaving by name. Yeah.
Well, Adam, speaking of Odium doing stuff, why don't you read this next one?
What a segue. Okay, the questioner says, how likely will we see Retribution make his own heralds? Brandon says, Raffo, how likely though? Okay, so he says Raffo and then answers the question. How likely though? I'd say there's a chance of this for sure. There's a percentage chance, but how likely? Well, Raffo. Okay.
I mean, if there's a chance, of course there's a percent chance, because that's how chance works.
Even if it's 0%, that's a non-answer.
That's a good point, Ian. I like that. Is there a chance that can't be a percent chance? No.
I feel like the Unmade who sort of occupy this space, they're of Odium, not of Retribution, but blah blah blah. I think that having another Herald level, I think it makes more sense for him to just make new Unmade.
Yeah.
I mean, I think part of the question is, well, now that the Retribution is half honor, and we associate Heralds with honor, would we expect, and thematically speaking, at Stormlight Archive as a series of books, I feel like it works better if we keep the Heralds either the OG Heralds or akin to the OG. So Heralds good guys, Unmade bad guys, essentially. There is certainly an opportunity to mix that up. Some of the Unmade are less closely aligned with Odium than we originally thought. Some of the Heralds, we just talked about Dova, not necessarily as aligned with the other Heralds as,
Speaking of mixing it up, the Blackthorn spread entity of is a little bit heraldy, a little bit unmade.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's also a possibility of just a new thing that vaguely has relations to either side. Because I absolutely think some of the Unmade are not going to be on Retribution side, namely Baido Mishram and Siana.
I think it's very probable that Retribution could elevate Fused. I think that's pretty. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see something like that. It's kind of interesting because now that the agreement that the 3 shards made is no longer in effect, there was that whole arms race of magical abilities, and the Unmade were kind of one of the last things on the rungs on that ladder of different abilities and how that escalated. So I do think theoretically possible. Yeah, I mean he's uncontested on Roshar. He could do it almost whatever he wants except for that specific Oath Pact. What are the costs for making Heralds versus Unmade versus Fused? I don't think we know, right?
Yeah. Right now, I don't really see a need from his perspective because like he has like generals and like agents, and like this would be like fulfilling a need that doesn't really exist.
Well,
beyond like thematic vibes.
Well, not even thematic vibes. His stated goal is to, he says save them all, but it's he wants the Cosmere.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons Odium has always wanted Roshar is because, Rosharans forged in war for such a long period of time. I don't see why Retribution wouldn't just start minting super soldiers.
Yeah, I mean that's a super.
If
and
you
like
want
just
to take over the entire
people,
Cosmere,
he has 2 shards worth of investiture to do it. Yeah,
like I think there's more to a herald than just a super soldier.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like he wants supercharged troops. Heralds are not troops. They're like general level. And like you don't want a million generals.
From what I remember when Tanavast was making the heralds, that was like some of the biggest parts of him that he, invested. And so
that he could under the terms of their agreement.
The terms, okay. But Taravangian might still be reticent to do something so extreme unless there was need.
Well, also something that comes to mind is we've seen that a herald level individual can be a threat to a shard. Like Ishar, if left unchecked, he's powerful enough to eventually, cause some damage. And so Taravangian may be reticent to make too many of those potential threats when it's easier to make a bunch of lower level peons that fuse level, radiant level. Yeah. Rather than someone who could potentially end up being dangerous down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because part of it is also honor was honorable. He wants people to strive to be better. Vaguely, it is all more complicated. Whereas
terms and conditions,
Retribution, yes, honor is part of him. He's also part odium, and no sharing, no nah. He's not as he's not in the same frame mindset as honor was when deciding to make the heralds.
I can get behind the idea of reticence. I mean, honor flipped Odium's original proto heralds, right? And they at this point have enough power over the new. It gets a little funky with the shards, but because of that act, they can now protect things from Retribution in a way that he cannot break that protection.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I can get behind the idea that yes, he can probably make a bunch more heralds, but those are all potential liabilities, potential risks, potential vulnerabilities.
He likes to just control things too much, I think. Right?
Yeah, he does.
It's it's a sort of thing Retribution could do this. Taravangian absolutely will not.
Yeah.
It would be funny if he made 10 more heralds or 9 more heralds or whatever, and then Valor showed up and yanked him.
Mine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was actually imagining all the 10 heralds coming back being awesome, and then Retribution's and now we have our dark edgy ones, and let's get Moash in there or something, and he could be one of the dark edgy heralds.
Moash is he's the dark windrunner. He's got to be the opposite to Kaladin.
I hate how plausible this is. I'll be totally honest.
Yeah. So you know what? What I could plausibly see is a group that is referred to as Retribution's heralds that are Moash and the Blackthorn spread entity.
Oh no.
But
they're not mechanically heralds in the same way.
Sure.
Yeah, I could see Taravangian like working to try and like change the narrative of like what heralds are.
That's
without actually mechanically doing it. Yeah,
it's a branding thing.
So that like when Kaladin and his therapy people show back up on Roshar, they're like, the heralds have returned, and then everyone's like, but the heralds right over there. And
we have heralds at home.
We have heralds at home.
Then like the camera like pans over to like Moash standing on a hill, and there's like lightning flashing behind him.
Stark shadows.
So I think there can be something like that, Ian, for sure, with heralds that aren't necessarily mechanically heralds. Because honestly, there's so much going on mechanically with heralds. Retribution can pick any one of these things. Yeah. I guess except like the old god stuff.
L in there.
Yeah.
Come on.
But
yeah, I mean, the idea of like champions of shards has been around for a while.
Yeah, that doesn't even need to be necessarily you super investing them, right? Like you don't have to do that. But what I think is plausible is I don't think Retribution will like create new honor blades or some honor blade equivalent. That it just seems like that just really could get out of hand, and Retribution seeing like, let's not do that actually. Whereas he could make a bunch of fused and give them whatever abilities he wants and surges he wants and like graft it into their soul or whatever. We don't know how that works. Why you do that over an honor blade? I don't know. But honor likes the swords. What can I say?
Other people can use honor blades.
Well, it's more just like, why would honor go with the swords? You know?
Swords are cool.
Honor thinks Tanavas thinks swords are cool.
I mean, symmetrical weapon or something.
Oh no.
That's so stupid.
No, but like to an extent, like Tanavast is, I think, driven by a narrative that exists in his head, like the narrative of honor, like what it means to be a god. And so I think there are certain aspects that are archetypical of such a narrative, you know, the knight in a shining armor.
Sure. That he's like, he remembers from Bronze Age Yolan that he's like, man, those guys, those are pretty sick. And I was just a tanner.
So like shard blades are swords by default because the honor blades are swords. But the honor blades are swords because honor saw into the fractal that is the future to see that, like, oh, there's a lot of people with really big, cool swords.
Magical swords are awesome.
I'm going to make some of those.
I saw into the spiritual realm. I saw the Star Wars universe. I saw all the things. Magical swords are tight. I'm going to make some. I'm sure. I mean, and honestly, he probably imagined that they wouldn't, give up the swords. So,
yeah,
he would have no idea. But whereas I can see race being odium, I'm going to graft these surges into this fused soul. So I can directly very, very much control this. And so there's more that control aspect.
It does. The control aspect fits really nicely with this.
Probably why race killed the Dominion. Too close to comfort, I want to control all the things, though.
So if odium's perpendicularity is called the well of control,
does that mean that
honor's perpendicularity should be the well of swords?
The well of swords.
A bunch of really big swords that he thought were really cool, and
the big sword well.
Yeah,
it's actually.
Where are the swords made? The God Forge.
The colloquial name for that well is Adolin's favorite place on Earth. On Roshar, excuse me.
I mean, we do have the Sea of Spears.
The Sea of... it's the Sea of Swords. Oh, that's so stupid. Cool. Let's move on to a related Retribution question. Hey.
No, we're just running through a bunch of odium stuff.
That's what's next. Except for the ones we skipped. But we'll do that in the next episode. Lacrosse Demon asked, now that odium is Retribution, does he have access to the Surge of Adhesion? will we see a 10th brand of Fused? 10th Unmade? Brandon, he does. And yes, you could see that. Can Yelignar finally grant its host Adhesion? Brandon, yes, he could. Man, the Fused who think that Adhesion's not a real surge are malding. They're furious that they lost that
in shambles.
In shambles. Damn it.
Yeah, but I fully expect that in some form the Blackthorn is going to be the 10th Unmade.
Sure.
Associated with
okay.
Adhesion.
Yeah. That has such thematic relevance with Dalinar being the Pondsmith to have that. Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
I know I've talked before about
it's
how
not like the most of the Unmade don't map 1-to-1 to surges.
No.
Yeah, I've seen many people attempt to make such a mapping, but yeah.
Yes, attempts exist.
Good for Yelignar, though. You know.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah.
Just what we want for the crystal monster.
Interesting that like they didn't have access to Adhesion, but they had access to progression.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't understand how any of this.
Cultivation just kind of swings both ways a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Cultivation's you know,
because it's like, oh, like Adhesion is honors truest surge, and I'm like, well, like then progression should be cultivation's truest surge, and then like, what about odium? Like, does odium have a truest surge? And like,
that's the secret 11th one. That's actually the white sand. Sorry, that's stupid. That's so stupid. Aether references, yay! Anyway,
no, I think this makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes more sense than the previous setup with Honor's True Surge, I think.
I mean, that I don't even understand what that means or why. Is it just that odium, the power, is like 10? Nah. 9? I'm in.
Yeah, it's like I'm skeptical how much of that like is actually like shardic mechanics and how much of that is just vibes on the part of race
and Tanavast just really hating their guts.
I mean, admittedly, like race could easily fear the power of bondsmithing, right? There's especially considering he talked with Ashar long ago on Ashen, and that led to bad things, right?
Yeah, because like how
was
the bondsmithing on Ashen would have come from Odium.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Odium can obviously grant Adhesion. He just didn't want to.
Yeah, so he didn't want to because he probably just like feared that power. That sounds like a race thing
It is
to
a
do.
dangerous power. It takes us back to the idea of control.
Yeah, so like the whole is like he could have always done it. Like him now holding honor like doesn't change things.
You could, really. I mean, you could probably spin something around Mishram because in some ways she was arguably like bondsmithy in some ways.
But that was the well of control, though. That's what allows her to connect to all the singers. That was the well of control, not necessarily her base abilities.
Yes, but it illustrates the dangers of connection.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the shard itself liked her better than
Yeah.
Or at least saw her as a viable candidate for a vessel.
So this next questioner asks, was Chana being at Shallan's wedding always part of the plan? Was that why you skipped over it in Oathbringer? Brandon, that isn't why I skipped over it in Oathbringer, though it was always part of the plan. I skipped over it in Oathbringer because I worried I was doing too many scenes that felt similar, and I wanted to save that scene for later when it would have more impact. It felt like too big. It's so hard. This is like a vibes thing when I'm writing, and I'm like, I feel like this scene to have the emotional weight I want it to won't fit here in the pacing. So let's save it and put it in a different place. Makes sense.
As a writer and revising my giant epic fantasy book, there's things that I'm like, I want to put in, but there's like the scene pacing does not work. And I'm like, the scene is worse if I add the thing, so I can't add the thing, even if I want to. So if I want to do it, I need to do it some other time. This absolutely makes sense to me. I find it interesting. Chana Devar, always the plan.
I buy this also, and I don't know about showing up at the wedding always being part of the plan.
I mean, that's what the question says.
I don't know. It's Brandon says this, and so to an extent, like I feel like I have to believe him, but I don't want to.
I see no reason why like it can't have always been the plan.
It's
like,
possible, and I don't have a good reason. It's just
I'm just surprised. That's what it is.
The way the books
it's kind of like it, because like it wouldn't have been like it would have been very like obliquely referenced.
You know what it is? It's not set up. That's why I'm struggling to believe that. It's
because like
it doesn't feel like something
like it would have been the setup. Like like you don't need setup to set up things. Like you just do the setup.
Like in Oathbringer, that would have been the setup for Chana stuff for later. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, like we wouldn't have had a reveal of like her mom is Chana. Like we would have had an oblique reference to like a red-haired woman, and then Shallan diverting.
That's what it'd be.
So like it would have been like foreshadowing. Like we as fans could have picked up as like another point in favor of like, but like it wouldn't have. We wouldn't have like gotten into the whole reveal.
Yeah. But I can see with what you're saying, Evgeni, that like until book 5, I still I don't know. Chana, I'm like, this is part of the plan, but Brandon says it's part of the plan. So good, good for that. I find it interesting.
Yeah, because it's like it's not a thing where like Brandon decided her mom was Chana or writing book 5. Like that has to have been part of the plan all along.
Yeah.
So it's like, like he knows like she was there at the wedding.
Fascinating.
Okay.
I'm with you, Evgeni. That's my reaction too.
It's just it just doesn't feel good. And like
I don't know how much my impressions of like the execution of the reveal are coloring my like belief, my like how easily I can believe that it was always the plan.
Sure.
Yeah. Because like I can maybe see the writing on the wall for each book, but like because that like the Chana Devar thing in book 5 doesn't feel like one of those things that's like that the previous 4 books have been building towards.
Sure.
It feels like something that the previous 4 books fit with. And so I can't reasonably argue against any presentation of evidence that is given to me, but like because it is not clean, because it is not one of those things that because like the beautiful thing about many of Brandon's like avalanches and like plot twists and stuff like that is that when you look at the body of work before then, it's so obvious that this is what he was building towards, and you're like, if only I was just 5% smarter, I would have seen that, I would have predicted it.
Yeah.
And like the Chana thing doesn't feel like that.
Well, definitely the comments.
Like I wonder if this is a thing where like there's so much going on with Shallan that Brandon like pushed back like the foreshadowing that because like I have too many other things like I'm doing with Shallan, and he just pushed it too late.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all happening in Wind and Truth. Whereas like if we had gotten the wedding scene and had like weird redhead woman that like is like remarked upon and like not addressed, like that could have been a piece of foreshadowing that. So when we get to Wind and Truth and get the reveal, and like the more heavy-handed foreshadowing for that, like it does feel more cohesive.
Yeah.
There's also the idea of like I think this is the same scene where it's revealed that Chana died again and is on Breeze and talking like it like stops being remembering the past and is now like just talking like real time. And I think that also I'm like, really? So okay. I think like that like really is sort of applying to the reveal that she was there in the wedding as well in my head. So it's hard to like separate those two.
That's interesting. I really liked how the Chana stuff went. I know there's lots of people who are like, no, this made perfect sense and was always part of the plan, and I called it for years, and that's totally fine.
It's like I can only say like once we got the prologue, it was like yes, Chana
100%.
It's like before the prologue, I
don't really think so.
I mean the prologue
like,
was
if we had gotten the wedding scene with weird redheaded woman,
that would have
maybe.
And so like there's also a thing where Brandon is doing subtle foreshadowing for many, many books in the future, right? Like there's so much stuff in Oathbringer that feels like that's going to be relevant later with like unmade stuff that's like, okay, well, we did the unmade stuff here, but there's, we'll see later, right?
Yeah.
And other things that probably we're not even picking up on. But at the same time, there's also things that I am certain Brandon gets to a book and is like, I mean, what if I did this though? This would be cool. And like, does it fit with the material before? So that's why sometimes it can be hard to do.
Yeah, and that's understandable, right? I'm sure this is one of those things where just like one of the reasons the original Mistborn trilogy is so beloved is because that foreshadowing works so well. And the reason it works so well is because Brandon had the luxury of like writing it back to back, like having the entire body of work in front of him and going, okay, how can I make these through lines work? That's the reason we are also, or one of the reasons we're so excited for Era 3 is because he gets the opportunity to do that again. So if he had the opportunity to like write the first 5 Stormlights and then like seed all of this intricate foreshadowing throughout, I think we would have been in a much stronger. Well, I think we would have been in a stronger place. Yeah, I think that would have been better. But that's obviously not it's not realistic,
feasible,
and the foreshadowing is still like really good. Right. But like, there's just like certain elements I'm like, interesting.
Yeah. And I'm not like complaining. I don't think it's bad. I'm just identifying that, one of the reasons our standards are so high is because they've been established by books and series where it was realistic to set them so high when that is not the case for Summerlight.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
I think we've depleted the well on this one, so let's move on.
The well of control. Which well?
The well of the well of swords.
Yes.
The well of words.
Yes. Well of WoBs.
Well
of WoBs.
Very nice name. 16. Good old VNN asks or says, a while ago, you told us that all investiture in the Cosmere was assigned to a shard at the Shattering, and that investiture purified of shardic alignment was impossible. Since then, we've seen Dawn Shards, Aethers, the old magic gods on Roshar, Windstone Knight. Have we really seen Knight? And purified the door. Are these things all still aligned to shards? Have you changed how this works? I think that's a great question. To which Brandon says the following. I've tweaked things a little bit. I still imagine it's all aligned to a shard, but it's more in its history. And I've begun letting it be wiped a little bit more and things like that. I do think that, for instance, the old gods were shardic aligned when it happened. They happened.
Sure.
Maybe the Shattering.
Yeah, when the Shattering, yeah.
They kind of predate the Shattering, but kind of not. When you read Wind and Truth, you can kind of figure it out. I'm letting it be wiped of intent, and for all intents and purposes, Honor's intent, Honor's purposes, acting like it's completely wiped. But that's not really 100% possible. All investiture came from Adonalsium. Asterisk, the Aethers claim they didn't. And therefore, all investiture still came from Adonalsium. Even if you file off the serial numbers of something, it's still the thing. You just don't recognize it. That's where I am right now on this. It's a good question. I could change on this. This is one of those things where I could change on as things go on, because again, the Aethers claim they're not derived from Adonalsium. Okay, whatever.
So I don't think that original WoB said that it's
no.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't say that.
The original WoB was like all of Adonalsium's investiture was allocated amongst the shards.
Yeah.
Said nothing about other investiture possibly existing.
Yeah,
that might be the Aethers.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, it's about how the Shattering interacted with Adonalsium stuff. What happened?
So that's useful to keep in mind in the context of this. Like, if we're talking about, for example, the old gods on Roshar. Roshar was created by Adonalsium very explicitly. Presumably, that means that the old gods were Adonalsium investiture.
Brett, and there we have old WoB saying like they were originally Adonalsium's Brett.
Yeah. And so for the purposes of this conversation, we can still work with those.
Yes. And it's like, we can kind of see that with the old gods where like Wind was very aligned to honor.
Yeah.
It's why they vibed very strongly.
Yeah.
Like Night was aligned with cultivation.
Mm-hmm.
And Stone famously aligned with whimsy.
Yeah, I think like regardless of what Brandon may misspeak at times during WoBs, I think he's very clear that Aethers are like ambiguous and that's not going to be like answered in WoBs at all.
Yeah, he's very consistent in saying that they claim.
Yeah. And I do think we got the Aether stuff much later anyway, when Brandon's like, hey, I figured out Aethers.
Aether stuff, because we got the Aethers, so it was just like, it's like, well, like, how does this relate into the spectrum of everything?
Yeah.
It's like, they certainly predate the Shattering, whether or not they, before that, like, we have a lot of questions about before the Shattering of Adonalsium and how reality works. But so like, this gets into conversations that like I've certainly had in my head of like how this all works. And is certainly a thing that's been discussed like by Arcanists. It makes sense to me that like Investiture has like a history, like it has a manifest, it has a provenance in the spiritual realm. So it's like, you could look at it and says like, this was originally like from preservation. Right now, looking at it, there's nothing to tell you that.
And in the same, like the way the metaphor I often go back to is we are all made of star dust, or we're all made of stars, whatever the exact quote is. In that all of the matter on this planet came from one star or another.
Well, the higher elements. How about the higher elements? Hydrogen came from the... Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Basic,
Helium.
Yeah.
But like, so that doesn't mean that we are, but like this planet is its own thing, even though you can trace, even if you could trace all of its atoms to like a single star in the same way that you can trace all of the investiture of a given Scadrian to Ruin and Preservation, they are still their own thing. So like,
that's different though.
Yeah, because I think what Ian's saying is more like an investiture, not particle, but a thing of investiture. Let's say particles loaded. You could potentially look in the spiritual realm and see historically where it came from necessarily. Whereas like if you have an atom of iron, you will never be able to discern any distinction with any other iron atom, right?
Unless you look in the spiritual realm.
Well, I guess that's true.
And I was like, I am going to disagree with you, Evgeni, because like this for Scadrian, it's like it's still part of Preservation in Ruin. It's like it's not unattuned Investiture.
Their serial numbers have not. Okay, I did conflate to relate, but yes, okay. Yeah. You look at a jar of purified door, you still can tell that this is different from a jar of purified Stormlight, for example.
Did you say can or can't?
Can by looking into the connections in the spiritual world.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was like, wait a minute.
I'm like,
flashbacks of
it's yes, it's purified door because like they know it came from the door.
They know where it came
from.
Yeah.
There's nothing still door about it.
What do they describe the investiture in Emberdark that they use to shoot the Dakwara with? Is it just like pure investiture or something?
They say unkeyed.
Yeah, they say unkeyed.
They talk about the key.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one, we're stepping away from heady investiture mumbo jumbo and
to talk about Hemalurgy again.
Well, I prefer to think of it as a good old fashioned classical Scadrial WoB.
Okay.
So,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Did the Lord Ruler figure out how to make the kandra himself, or did he get the idea from something that already existed on Scadrial? Brandon says, there was already existing things on Scadrial that I would say gave him the idea.
What?
Brother, what?
I like how Scadrial's the Earth analog planet, except when it absolutely isn't. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
except
you know, the
for
giraffes
the
and the mist wraiths, you know, you know, easy.
Maybe this will be answered in Mistborn Legacy.
Yeah, certainly.
The kandra character there.
I'm like, hey, brother-wise, please, I'd love a supplement set in classical Scadrial. Hey.
Ooh. See,
as
Erdal.
soon as the Silver Kingdoms comes out.
I mean, I do want Silver Kingdoms more, to be honest. But
do like an ancient past like supplement where we get the Silver Kingdoms and classical Scadrial.
And the world huffers. Yeah, easy.
That's never gonna
and like what it's like the early era of Cell.
The early era.
Oh, the early kingdom.
Yes.
Yeah. The early, middle, and late. Yeah.
No, it was. Yeah. No, it was era. Yeah, it was the early era, middle era, late era from the battalion.
Yes.
Pendant lore. We did it. We got there.
King Reishim is a quest giver.
And then you can have the 5 scholars before the many war exploring the Cosmere. Easy peasy.
Brother-wise, I know you're listening. You're absolutely not listening. But like we're just giving you content ideas.
Yeah, they're definitely listening. Some of them might actually. But
I mean, some of them might be.
I guess it does make sense that the Lord Ruler had some inspiration for Mist Wraiths, and he didn't just out of the blue decide to turn all the terrorist people into blobs of...
Surely there has to be some time.
Just the Faruka mists.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
True.
The way I imagined that working up until this WoB, and I don't know how this WoB changes my opinion, is that it was not explicitly his intent to turn them into blobs of mist monster, but like in the same way that Hemalurgy constructs change in unexpected is the wrong word. I see Hemalurgy construct the properties of Hemalurgy constructs as like emergent properties from the fact that their spirit webs have been modified for some other purpose.
Yeah.
So you make a change to the spirit web, to the soul, and that change sticks. You accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. And in addition to that, it's like you want to make super soldiers. Kolos. You shove a bunch of strength into their soul. And you get your super soldiers.
But then they get the weird skin.
And if you at these specific points, you get more.
Yeah.
And their skin also turns blue.
Yeah, weird stuff. Yeah, okay.
Like you weren't trying to make that happen. That's just like a side effect of the change that you were. And so that's how I thought of Mistwraiths, is that Rashek's goal was to eliminate feruchemy from the population. And so, like, I don't know, maybe he like removed the feruchemical spiritual gene or something like that. And as a side effect, because like this was such an invasive change to the souls of his people, they turned into blobs.
Sorry, I'm just imagining someone spiking a feruchemist. They take out the feruchemy, and it's just like, they're Mistwraith now. It's very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the explanation because it explains why he didn't just kill all the feruchemists. Like, he did something that he thought was equivalent, and it resulted in Mistwraiths.
Well, it's because like he was using the power of preservation, and like it would have resisted.
It would have resisted that.
Just smiting everyone.
Yeah.
Because like just like targeting and removing the feruchemy gene like doesn't quite work for me.
No.
Because like that would have just like removed feruchemy forever. It was like
for the sake of the example.
Yeah, like it was only like the people actively expressing the gene, because it's a recessive gene. Yeah, like I could see something along the lines of like, I need to like make it so like the living feruchemists can't have feruchemist kids. The power of preservation was just like, well, I can't kill them. I'm going to turn them into a goop monster.
Have you seen this proto goop monster on classical stage reel? I got you covered, Chief.
Yeah.
Like,
so
okay,
like, this is bonkers insane. And I'm like, Brandon, like, you need to explain this. Like,
yeah.
I'm like,
he was inspired
what could he have been referencing?
The deepness wraiths.
I mean, it is some of these things, thinking about Era 1 foreshadowing, I'm like, okay, sure, that's how we got Mistwraiths. And I'm just imagining from Rashek's POV in the Well of Ascension, I'm like, goop monsters. I got it. Nailed it. I'm like, that's interesting.
Unless like this just is not compatible with this WoB. Because like if he like went in with wanting to make the kandra as like the perfect spies, it's like them being able to shapeshift like is like absolutely something like he would design for.
Yeah, I guess
it's just like, well, the way to get there is to make goop monsters. But
I guess
no, there was something pre-existing. I'm like, but what?
Well, I mean, I guess there is room for that.
Like, what if like he got the idea of like shape-shifting No, that doesn't work. I was gonna say, dragons? What if he got the not dragons, Disianamians. But like the only Disianamians that like take human form like started on Roshar.
Yeah.
And I don't think that timeline works out.
I don't think that timeline works. I like that. Maybe the true Vaxillians, they'll clear it up.
Look like goop monsters, I wonder.
I just went on a trip.
You did go on a trip that none of us
did. So like I'm trying to reconcile what this is saying, right? And a kind of an easy answer is, there is some figure in like mythology or lore, you know.
Yeah.
He was inspired by tales of the Brolins, and so
the Brolins. Are the Brolins still in the new draft, or did they change that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, it's just they changed it so that Spren was in there, you know?
Yeah. I think that was just an addition.
No. I think they changed a thing. Because like there was something like Sprite changed to Spren or something somewhere.
I think it was Sprite.
Yeah. So the Brolins are safe.
Brolins are they're still there.
Brolin lore.
The Cosmere.
Brandon, when are we gonna get the Brolins? Okay.
As soon as we get the Fae.
Shout out to Diceborn Secrets in Stained Glass, where Matt came up with an awesome rhyme that mentions the Brolins.
It's actually really good. I'm not gonna lie.
I totally forgot this, to be honest.
Like Matt was something of Brolin make is like imprinted in my brain.
Nice.
The way I want to approach this is, what was Rashek trying to do? And I don't think he was trying to kill everyone. No. I also don't think he wanted to make the perfect spy. I think that came later. I think his goal was I don't want anyone to like have this like combination of like I don't want a quote unquote fullborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
because
I want to save my
they
friends.
can challenge my power,
right?
But potentially I want to save my friends, right?
Yeah.
Because like he extended this offer, like so he makes a change to all of the feruchemists, some version of you don't have feruchemy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Sure.
I think that's his goal. And
Sure.
then he goes, and so I think that has the unintended side effect of goopifying everyone.
This is a very
then-
scientific show here.
And then he reaches out.
Ingoopification is the technical term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. That happens when you get too close to a black well.
That's pretty funny. No, it needs to be a white well because it's self-preservation. Come on.
Yeah, but the other one is also there. So
Yeah. Okay.
anyway, and so he goes, okay, but like that's mean to my friends. I am going to offer them a way to like restore some of their humanity. So I'm gonna band-aid, whatever I ripped out of their souls. I'm not gonna heal them, but I can bandage them if they so choose.
I guess I just thought they were directly transitioned from
They have
humans.
blessings, don't they? Or is it
They
True.
do still have blessings.
Okay.
But I don't have time to look at the Hero of Ages epigraphs because we're kind of rapping. But I thought that they were directly transitioned.
From
Yes.
what into what?
Oh, okay. Oh, I found it. This is perfect. Great. When the Lord Ruler offered his plan to his feruchemist friends, the plan to change them into mist wraiths, he was making them speak on behalf of all the land's feruchemists. Though he changed his friends into kandra to restore their minds and memories, the rest he left as non-sentient mist wraiths. These bred more of their kind, living and dying, becoming a race unto themselves. From these children of the original mist wraiths, he made the next generations of kandra. And then it talks about the feruchemy oversight, so that's not relevant here.
And Kwaan just didn't take him up on the offer. There was something about Kwaan.
I think Rashek just like, no, I'm keeping you around. I don't think he.
Well, I am.
Oh wait, no, there was something about speaking into his mind too. I think.
Oh God.
The reason I ask,
Jesus.
The reason I ask is because if he's reaching out to what would become the first generation, and he's having them decide for everyone, and it's like, hey, do y'all want to become misrates? But you, because you're my friends, are gonna be misrate plus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Then, if they are deciding on behalf of everyone, they would be deciding on behalf of Kwaan as well.
So we have a WoB about Kwaan. I found it.
But like Kwaan doesn't become a mist wraith.
Right. And so I want to understand how that works.
I mean, I have the WoB. It's from 2008. Hey.
Yeah.
Where someone asked, what happened to Kwaan? I was half expecting him to see him amongst the kandra first generation. There you go. Brandon, Kwaan went into hiding, and he was eventually discovered and executed by Rashek. He wasn't among the first generation, though he would have been if he hadn't turned against Rashek. He turned against Rashek.
So did he not turn into a mist
Wasn't that
wraith
the
either?
recanting, or?
No, but he sent
he did
Rashek.
not.
No, yeah, you're right.
Well, I think it's like Kwaan sent Rashek to not make sure Ruin didn't get released. He did not send Rashek to become Emperor of the Boat.
Sorry, this WoB actually explains all of this, so I'll continue.
Okay.
So this mystery is all solved. Rashek kept the plate, just as he kept the logbook, partially because even then Rashek was going a little mad. Then someone else says, I'm assuming you meant Alendi hunted him down because he turned against Alendi. Or did Kwaan also turn against Rashek? Brandon, no, I meant that he turned against Rashek. Remember, the members of the first generation were offered immortality in exchange for their... This says Hemalurgy, but surely that means feruchemy.
Yeah.
Hemalurgy was originally the name for feruchemy, and so I think Brandon's just, They had to make this choice for all of the world's feruchemists, because his uncle had been the one who gave Rashek the chance to become the Lord Ruler in the first place. Rashek blessed him and included him in the decision, speaking directly into his mind along with the others during Rashek's moment of ascension. Kwaan was the only one who turned down this offer, calling it a betrayal of who they were as a people. Rashek could have just made him one anyway, but in a moment of anger, he tried to destroy Kwaan, which he couldn't do, not with preservation's power. As the other feruchemists changed, Kwaan remained the same. Rashek eventually hunted him down and killed him. I gotta be honest, that's like a freaking annotation right there as a WoB. I love that. That's like so much lore going on. There's so much lore.
I gotta say, Mistborn world building, like prehistory world building, was tight.
It was. It is.
Yeah.
You don't get this kind of stuff in Stormlight.
Well, I think it's because like there's so many things that could be threads, whereas Brandon's like, I remade the world. We're not going to talk about Kwaan ever again. So it's like, we can talk about it. Why Lutha and the Lord Ruler's kids? The Lord Ruler's kids don't matter, but according to Brandon.
Oh, okay.
Side note on this, I thought that, isn't it a thing that preservation can't speak into people's minds and can only listen? Or am I forgetting that?
There is a thing about like one power speaks and one power listens.
Okay, that's a really good point.
It's like, yes, but like preservation.
I fully accept that it. Yeah, I fully accept that it's just one of those like early installment weird things of like there's no real like mechanical reason that would be a thing with what we know about.
Yeah,
Shards,
it's like why can you push and pull on Adium? I'm like, because you can.
Yeah, because the WoB doesn't need to be canon, but this Hero of Ages epigraph, it's in there. And I don't see how he could do it otherwise. But, you just got to think of it like Rashek put them into like some spiritual vision or something. There's shenanigans that he could do that kind of technically
vision,
work.
Yeah. In that vision, he was like, I'm going to make you into goop monsters, just like the goop monsters we have.
Our Mistrate's immortal. Our Mistrate's immortal.
No, they have like 50-year lifespans or something.
I don't know if the Mistrates are immortal, but
I'm vaguely remembering something about 50-year lifespans as well.
I don't, but I would not be surprised.
Oh, yep. That race of creature beats true with only a 50-year lifespan. You got to trust Ian's memory. By the way, Ian, I did look through Wind and Truth, and I'm just totally wrong. There's no... I know. Yeah. I know. Anyway.
It's like one of these days I'm going to use this for evil, where I'm going to tell you something is definitely true, and you're just going to take me as true.
Only if it's hard for me to research, but if it's easy. So I think what it is that preservation can't talk through people with Hemalurgy. I think this is just like kind of a different Shardic thing. So I think this is fine, right? Because this is like, we're holding the power. We're talking to a bunch of people all at once. It's honestly a lot like how Otter just talked to all the Radiants all at once, right? Like you can just do that.
Yeah. It's like the fact that like Brennan was saying like, oh, you can't do this was more weird about preservation and ruin of like one power speaks, one power listens. He's more weird than him being able to speak using.
Yeah, but Vin couldn't speak to Ellen at the end.
Well,
that's true.
I mean, Ruin was free for one thing, and two, it's probably fine. I like how these WoB episodes now come to like, have we inadvertently found a deep continuity mistake that's incredibly minor, but like,
and also irrelevant.
Well, maybe preservation can't speak, but he can put on an elaborate like stage play where he
That's why they turned into goof monsters. He did
a puppet show.
He couldn't explain Goof Monster adequately with hand puppets, and they didn't know what they were signing up for.
Yeah. The most dangerous game of charades in existence.
I love that there's just a bunch of Kwaan lore. I like how we just talked about like an incredibly recent book with so many things. And it's like, hey, do you guys remember some 2008 Hero of Ages spoiler Q&A on the Time Wasters Guide forum? Just Brandon spitting annotations. Yeah.
What's the date on that? Like the month day?
This says October 15th, 2008, because it did come out in October. These particular ones may come out a few days because it was over some period of time.
Yeah. This WoB is like right before the one about steam trains on classical schedule.
His replies on October 17th.
Is this 18 years old? Is this WoB a legal adult? Not quite.
Oh no. October 17th it will be though. Oh no.
We should set a reminder so that we can celebrate it.
On this day, Kwaan's annotation becomes a legal adult. And then Rashek hunts him down and kills him.
For a while, I had Google Calendar events on my calendar for like anniversaries of various Brandon books, which is why I know that Words of Radiance came out on March 14th.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Are you not depressed by that calendar reminder at this stage?
It doesn't say how old those books were.
Fair point. It's just like, oh yeah, it came out on this day. How nice. I'm not going to think about that. That was in 2014.
Yep. Oh, no. 12 years ago.
There's probably people born in 2008 who are watching. If you're born in 2008 watching this, probably younger. Probably younger.
If you're younger than Kwaan lore,
yeah,
let us know.
Younger than Kwaan lore. I mean, there are a bunch of teenagers on the forums. That's a fact. I don't know how much they watch Shardscast. I'll be totally honest. I think they do other stuff, but anyway,
they are valuable members of the community, nevertheless.
Yes. So on that note, we'll also talk about things from nearly 18 years ago with some lore from Warbreaker. And so this questioner asks, by the end of the main Cosmere novels, will we have known why Vasher was brought back by endowment? Brandon, I intend you to, but can't promise it. Which,
interesting.
I like that. That's at least the intent. Like we'll have to see how it happens.
I wonder if this is like he intends to write Nightblood and it will be in there, but who knows if he will get to it, or if this is some deeper long-term thing. Like it may end up being a thing in like Mistborn Era 4.
I think
I could see either.
I think it's like really deep foreshadowing for much later, because Vasher's clearly this character that Brandon wanted to use in other things, right? And I think this sort of like character mystery with Vasher, like I could see a book where Vasher's a POV character that is much later, right? Oh man, like a space age Vasher POV, that'd be pretty sick. I'll be honest.
And Grumpy Hobo POV.
Yeah.
I think it's the opposite. I think what we see, I think Vasher in Stormlight is like post-retirement Vasher. So he has accomplished whatever it is that endowment brought him back for. And I think he's like figuring out who he is as his own character now.
But Brandon talked about like that he always had Vasher in Stormlight and then wrote Warbreaker as the prequel. So like the thing that started was Stormlight and Vasher in Stormlight. So that's the idea that happened first, and that's probably the character arc that happened first.
Yeah, you were Brandon, and you're like, okay, I want this character in Stormlight. I don't think it has to be the case that you are putting this character in, you're putting this returned in Stormlight so that he can accomplish his returned purpose. Like him being returned and having been brought back for a purpose could be a part of his backstory, because the reason you're putting him in Stormlight is because he is like a grumpy scholar, wise man, mentor figure.
Yeah, it's like the whole, he came up with Vasher as a Stormlight character, and he came up with Vasher as a returned. We don't know what order those things happened.
I'll just say Endowment said she had plans to deal with odium. Nightblood.
Vasher's not doing much.
I'm just saying Nightblood was involved in absolutely killing Race. So, maybe it didn't turn out super great.
Brandon says, I intend you to know why he was brought back by Endowment, but I can't promise it. So, if it was the Race thing, we already know about it.
Well, no, I'm not saying, I'm not saying that was Vasher's purpose. I'm saying Endowment could be playing an extremely long game and have very long-term plans. That's what I mean. Yeah. And we've seen a potential long-term plan manifest.
Yeah, but the way he's saying this, doesn't strike me as this is a big important thing that the future of the Cosmere hinges on, or else we would definitely get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is he'd like to get it out there, which does make me look more at it coming out in Nightblood, the book.
Yeah, I think that
or some sort of equivalent experience.
I do feel like there's kind of a promise with Vasher and Vivenna at some point that we do need to see them again and that be paid off in some respects. So I think that would definitely occur, tying that up. That doesn't necessarily need to be the answer to and the lore bit of why Vasher came back, right? So storytelling wise, I think we definitely need one of those. And it's not this part in this WoB, right? Cool. Wow. We kind of sort of did it, guys. So let's get on over to who's that Cosmere character?
This character is from Roshar.
Menace. Tien.
Tom.
Raze.
Void in drag on a horse.
It's time for Who's That Cosmere Character? Caw. Welcome to Who's That Cosmere Character, the game show where you send 5 clues into character to WTCC at 17shard.com. I read each clue aloud, and after each clue, these guys have a chance to guess who's that Cosmere character. And our first one today is from Concordia of Frogs.
Ooh, that's a name.
They say that
is a name.
They're a pretty new Sanderson fan, but this email was from a while ago. But, that's fine. So they're less new now. But, so here's what we got. Clue 1. This character is not from Roshar.
I love it already.
I know.
Elend.
It's not Elend.
King Eventeo.
It's not King Eventeo.
Ash.
It's not Ash. Yeah. Yeah. Clue 2. This character uses Investiture.
Shy.
It's not Shy.
Silences grandma's shade.
No.
Does she use Investiture, or is Investiture?
What does it mean to use Investiture, really?
I think shades are sufficiently qualify as using Investiture to perpetuate themselves. And also to
Light
wither.
Song.
It's not Light Song. Clue 3. This character holds a position of authority.
Marasi.
It's not Marasi.
The Admiral of the Night Brigade.
It is not the Admiral. Glad you're guessing something newer. That's nice. Good.
Trying so hard.
Is it Straff?
It is not Straff. But that all works so far. These next are going to get a little more specific. Clue 4. This character works with textiles.
Susaron.
Vasher?
It's not Susaron. It's not Vasher.
Well, I broke my pattern of getting all of my guesses from the pin.
Very good.
Works with textiles.
Yes, apparently.
What counts as a textile?
I mean, it has a pretty rigid definition.
And I can't guess any of the Rosharan characters that I want to guess, which is really annoying.
Okay, this I've confirmed that I've confirmed this clue.
Oh god, what's his name? Yeah, I forgot his name. The person Vivenna gets her breaths from.
Oh, Lemix?
Lemix, yeah.
Oh yeah, and Lemix's nurse being a world hopper. Oh, deep lore. No, it's not Lemix. Clue 5. This character is interested in archaeology.
And it's not Vasher.
And it's not Vasher, huh?
No.
Oh, if this ends up being, oh my god. If this ends up being one of the two freaking kandra who joined together in the broadsheets to like turn into a pterodactyl.
Archaeology.
Yes.
Like I actually wanna, well, but they're not in position of power. That's not, I mean, yeah, but they're faceless immortal, so that kind of counts. I want to guess one of them, but they have no, like, I think both of them have like one characteristic, and I don't know their names. I don't know anything about them other than they merged together.
I still don't think I've read that broadsheet.
Yeah. Would you like? Is that your guess, Evgeni?
I mean,
I'll tell you.
I want to guess one of them.
I'm gonna tell you it's neither of those kandra.
Okay, great.
Because. Okay. Yeah. It's not the pterodactyl kandra or something. I have no idea what that is.
Is it the guy who tells Wax about the mysterious structure that is where the airship crashed in Man's Morning?
Oh, the noble?
Yeah. Isn't he an amateur archaeologist or something?
I mean, yeah, they did have an excavation site there. I think I don't remember if that person is a Metalborn, but I think the rest checks out.
I will allow this, and yes, it is that person. And that is
My guess was
yeah.
My guess was going to be the kandra who has Breeze's hands, whose name I can't remember.
Oh, Vendel?
Oh,
Vendel.
Yeah. So
like he changes suits a lot, and they are mysteriously different colors that are closely related.
But Adam is correct, and so it is Gave and Trone. Who did
wait? Was it him?
Yeah, that was him. And then he was later elected mayor of Bilming. Yes. He's like a main antagonist.
I did not realize he was in...
He works with textiles?
Yes, apparently he got into textiles and at one point did business with Ladrian. Yes.
I'm going to be honest. Okay. What's his Metalborn power?
That's a great question.
I think he ends up giving himself a bunch with...
I think it's with the Hemalurgy stuff.
Right. Yes,
I think it's with the Hemalurgy experiments.
But like maybe he's a natural born, you know. I think he has steel at the very least, because like his safe is like steel or iron coated.
Which, like, if you have the choice, pick steel.
Flight of the Ornithor is the thing that I was referring to.
Are there even pterodactyl? Like how?
No. They're Ornithors. They're not pterodactyls. They're Ornithors.
But still, like how? Like there's no prehistory of this planet.
Look, if there can be goop monsters, there can be Ornithors.
Yeah.
Rune and Preservation really like them. Okay, that's actually a really good point.
Honor likes swords. Preservation likes dinosaurs.
Oh, it's like
I mean, of course, Preservation does. That's why Preservation makes the fossils to preserve them.
Yeah,
nailed it. Though I desperately wanted to pick, my regard for my longtime companions compelled me to honor their request, even though the sound of their merging was like an octopus kissing a giant slug for 10 minutes. When I was allowed again to look, the beast before me resembled a featherless version of the paintings of Ornithors we'd seen at the quarry with long, thin bones and bat-like wings.
So Rune of Preservation did make fake fossils into the geology.
Yeah, there's a quarry. On either side of the creature's heads, where it would normally have had eyes, was Kesun's face on the right and Tabar's on the left. So Kesun and Tabar were the two.
Okay, that's a terrifying image. Hey, Isaac, you definitely don't watch this.
No, he does not have time.
Book of Nails and explain this.
Hopefully. I'm sure that'll be top on the list, his top priority. All right. And now what we're going to do to wrap up is we're going to read from our Who's That Cosmic Character priority queue. And so you can submit things to the priority queue by being a Herald on Patreon, patreon.com/17shard. Of course, we have a bunch of tiers. The Herald is the highest one, but you can support for as little as $1, getting art polls and all of our outtakes and stuff. So just for $1.
And you'll be in good company.
Yeah, and you get our access to our paid patron lounge Discord channel, which mostly is sharing pet pictures. That's what you want for $1. It's a lot of cats. It's a lot of time. It's my cats. That's for sure. So if you want cute pictures of Aeona and Sky definitely had thoughts about this Who's That Cosmic Character. He was screaming out there. But this one is sent by Off Piste Skier? Okay.
Bless you.
That's what it says. And clue 1. This character is not from Roshar.
Hrathen.
It's not Hrathen.
The aluminum bones were lifted from the Ornithsaur quarry.
I don't know how realistic this is. But clearly, like Arnisaur is like, that's like a thing. Clearly, like that part's probably not made up. That it's like, yeah, no, there are fake fossils that exist, and so there are fake dinosaur
unless
bones.
Harmony made up a fake animal and like
interesting
fake fossils.
No,
for fake
some
animal
fan fiction got mixed in with the Keeper histories, and so like he totally thinks it's a real animal that actually never existed.
That would actually be really funny.
Not from Roshar.
Yes.
Liyun.
It's not Liyun. Okay, nice.
Is it Azure?
It's not Azure. Clue 2. This character has spent time around nobility.
Sereni.
Sixth of the Dusk.
It's not Sereni. It's not Sixth of the Dusk.
No, Tabu is not nobility. Szeth.
It's not Szeth. Clue 3. This character is known to be skilled.
I don't like that clue.
Doxin.
It's not Doxin. I know it is a correct clue for this character, for sure.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I just don't like.
Well.
Ham.
It's not Ham.
Tindwyl.
It's not Tindwyl. Clue 4. Although skilled, this character is unable to perform miracles.
Okay, so that's
it's one of those.
Not from Roshar.
Not from Roshar.
Mercy from Overwatch, who says, "I'm not a miracle worker."
Is that your actual guess?
She is not a Cosmere character. I'm not allowed to guess that.
No, but we have a friend.
Kitty?
It's not Sky. It's actually Aeona. Oh, she looks so cute. What do you think? Do you know what character this is?
It is Raoden.
It is not Raoden.
Damn.
Is it Galadon?
It is not Galadon.
Oh, so the flight of the Arnisaur.
Time. That's not helpful. I'm gonna guess Susebron again.
It's not Susebron. All right, clue 5. this character has been in the presence of 3 vessels of shards.
Oh, God. Okay. Not Warbreaker.
That does seem unlikely, yes.
Someone guessed Hoyd? Well, now Hoyd would be in...
a bit more than 3.
Yeah.
Do you count as being in the presence of yourself?
I wouldn't.
I would not.
Okay.
For the purposes of this, I'm going to say no. Because I do think that some of these clues have been a little vague, so I'll help you out. I'm going to say no.
Can we get a recap on the clues?
I can absolutely do that. This character is not from Roshar. This character has spent time around nobility. This character is known to be skilled. Although skilled, this character is unable to perform miracles. And this character has been in the presence of 3 shard vessels.
And only 3?
I'm going to say yes, only 3.
Okay.
I do not believe it could be greater.
I mean, this smells like Scadrial, right?
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, if it's Scadrial, it would be like Vin, Szeth, and...
I mean, AT...
Either AT or Laras.
Laras.
Oh, yeah.
You could maybe make a case for Kelsier.
I mean, I think Kelsier could count. I got preservation. Not very well, but, you know.
I'll go with that. Is it clubs?
It's not clubs.
I keep getting stuck on not from Roshar, but like I wanted...
There would be a lot more options for multiple shard vessels on Roshar. Would you get 3 though?
But now I'm just like stuck thinking of like who are the non-Rosharans on Roshar who have met like Dalinar and Taravangian.
Oh, that's the direction you want to take that in.
Yeah, and like cultivation at the
valley. Well, I mean, Felt in particular doesn't want to go there because she doesn't
like foreigners.
The
Night Watcher doesn't like foreigners.
Yeah, but you know.
Yeah, because you get 2 with Felt, right?
I mean,
do you get more with Felt?
Do you want to make a case? Do you want to make a case for Vasher? Maybe he went to the.
I'm thinking about Vasher, but like I can't.
Well,
I don't think he ever met Taravangian.
But he met when he was returned. He would have
met Endowment, but like I can't think of the third.
Oh, yeah.
It does say vessels, though. It doesn't say shards. Is the thing.
It's true.
Which
it does say that.
How much do you want to read into that? I'm gonna guess Rashek.
It's not Rashek.
You know what? I am gonna go with Vasher.
It is not Vasher. Okay, this. So this character is Kosan, who cut Vin's hair, and it is Vin, Szeth, and Kelsier. They're in the same scene.
Okay.
Brother.
And so she's very skilled, but can't work miracles on Vin. She's just like, how?
Oh yeah, like no. Okay, that is a good clue.
Like it is actually very specific to
no.
that.
This is no. Okay, I look fair and square. That's hey, you found an extremely obscure character and made a very good case for them.
I admittedly have read some other ones because I'm like, maybe this is a little too obscure. It was like really close on that line, but I thought it'd be sufficiently fun.
No, I don't think we would have ever guessed that, but I think
me either.
I think the clues were good, and I think they fit the character well.
And it's like, I'm like, oh, I kind of remember that character, kind of.
Yeah.
Like I remember the scene.
Yeah. Yeah, but like Vin was there, Szeth was there, Vin, and I think Kelsier was there too. So it is kind of amusing in that way, right?
Kelsier like did hold
preservation
briefly.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the words of founding do talk about him. Like, being preservation for
True.
it. So, you know.
That's true. Szeth agrees. Wow. Look at that. Well, you can find us on 17char.com for all your news, discussion, theories, and fun that you could ever want. Join our Discord, discord.gg/17shard. Lots of stuff going on there. Patreon.com/17shard. If you'd like to support us, of course. We always appreciate that. And I think next time it may either be more WoBs or we may do the other non-Hoid wife related Emberdark mysteries. Because Adam and Ian, you weren't on that episode, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we did Emberdark mysteries, but then we just talked about Hoid's wife. The entire episode.
I heard.
Yeah. So
I saw the aftermath.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So, there's a bunch of other ones that we thought we'd get to. So anyway, but there might be more WoBs. There's plenty more WoBs to do. There are some spicy ones next time, for sure. If you want to get into investiture semantics, we will do that.
Even more so than we did today.
Brandon comments that Argent was losing his mind. So, that's great. So we'll talk about that.
I typed WaT in chat.
And Brandon saw and recognized that username and therefore commented on it. That's what happened.
Yeah.
All
but
right.
that's how thumbnails and titles are made, headings are made.
That's true. That's true. I could make like a very dramatic like clickbait thumb that's like, Brandon said what about Argent? Anyway, we'll see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.